Okay, hello, Tyler Bryden here. I hope everything is going well today. Going to talk about a couple of my favorite topics all interweaved here together. We've got some music, we've got artificial intelligence, we've got technology, we've got fear, we've got anxiety, we've got copyright. Copyright, not as much, but all of this a really interesting intersection and moment, I think, in technology and culture where something clicked. There was this ending moment when this song was released that was an AI generated song using the voice of Drake and The Weeknd. This was placed online by Ghostwriter 977, who has probably brought a world of chaos onto himself and just in general. And now there has been other versions of this technology, versions of these songs released, but this one just really stuck, maybe partly because of the popularity of the artist with Drake and The Weeknd. I'm a GTA person. So there's some resonance here and grew up on both of these artists, have a lot of love for them. I think what also spoke to people was just the quality that this came out, including both the lyrics, but then more the actual vocals of Drake and The Weeknd on this track. Now, I would love to show you this song, but the video is now unavailable. And I think there are some places to find this still. I'm not going to link. I don't want to get in trouble. Really, that's frankly, people are going to be getting in trouble. And it seems like with this moment, there has been just with such intention, with such virality of this track, it started to get the crackdown and notice from these companies who obviously have some real rights to at least be upset about how this is going. So no longer on Apple Music, Spotify, Deezer, and Tidal. It's being pulled from TikTok, YouTube, which it obviously showed you there. And it's really the core issue here is criticism around copyright law from their publishers, UMG, Universal Music Group, and has legal and ethical responsibility to prevent the use of services harming artists. Now, Drake has apparently responded to, I don't know if it was this song in particular, but AI used in his voice something to do with an Ice Spice song. I don't know much about her. I don't know much about that, but something about the bunch, the crunch, the bunch. I'm not into the culture as much as I used to be. I'm sad, I'm old. What's interesting here, they talk about it was streamed almost 1 million times on Spotify. Earned about $2,000. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough for the legal bills that this ghostwriter might have to endure, but it speaks to this moment of generative AI and using artists' music, which really can come from a data set that has been curated online from the music that they've made. And so in this case, the process here basically appears to be, hey, record your own vocals, and then there's a system that allows you to then dub over those vocals with a data set that is Drake's voice or Weeknd's voice. And this is going to continue to happen. We've already seen things like this with Joe Rogan and Steve Jobs, where they're able to scrape data from online, pull that in. You don't even need that big of a data set or language model. We've got this company Descript, which is doing overdub, which you can train on, I think, as little as 10 minutes of audio. They recommend over an hour, but like this change is happening super quickly, and you don't even need these large data sets to be able to clone voices. Now, there are people who don't have that much content online, but then there are people like Drake and The Weeknd who, between the songs that they've created, the podcasts they've done, the interviews they've done, there's a lot of really high quality audio and video recording that they're able to scrape that data, put it into these models, and then replicate using some voice cloning technologies. I'd like to dig a little bit deeper into actually how this process took place, and I will share that online and in video if I do. It speaks to just the democratization of this technology and the ability for people who are maybe not complex developers or data scientists to be able to, I can't speak to who this ghostwriter truly is. I think doesn't want that, but the ability for them to create it and then release it online, and then the distribution that is possible almost instantly, made this such a big moment in history and culture and technology right now. So with some of the videos that have come online, I've seen like John Denton did a reaction to where he listened to it, and one of the responses here was pretty good. The song is pretty good. And I think a lot of people having fear in general, this anxiety around AI, around how this technology is going to impact them. A lot of times we think of maybe more technical business practical applications of this technology, but now we're seeing artistic endeavors, we're seeing creative endeavors, music, film, all these wonderful pieces of entertainment that we really love as people starting to be taken over also by AI. And really, we have built this large, massive data set available for these systems to understand our culture, to understand us, and be able to do it even better than us more quickly, personalize that experience, and overall just really change the world. So there are a couple of, I think, core elements that stuck out to me. One of them, I'm not going to play it here, but I'll drop this as a link, was "Hey There Delilah," but it's Kanye voice. So this was an earlier example from a couple of weeks ago where I actually listened to this song. It turned out very nicely. I liked it. And it started to think about not just music in this perspective. I started to think about even learning or the personalized journeys we're able to create of how we actually ingest content. And so as an example, I painted the walls in my house right now, and I watched this guy on YouTube show me how to do it, but I was like, why didn't I get Kanye West in his voice and then with some animations demonstrate how that I can paint the wall while doing it on a song, while doing it on a Metro Boomin beat, personalize that video and really enjoy that learning process. So I think this is where we're heading to, where we're listening to much more subjective, personalized things, where it's the exact diagnostic for what we need in that moment. Is I don't just want to learn how to paint the house. I want to learn it by J. Cole on a DJ Premier beat. And he gives that to me, and I want to make that specifically 4 minutes long. And that's how I'm going to learn. That's how I'm going to entertain. I think that's where we're all headed on this journey. So I do think overall there is a lot of concerns right now. We're seeing the response from music groups. We're seeing the response from artists. We're seeing messages from people who are already losing their jobs or having their jobs impacted mid-journey. There was a viral story about this person who was building models, would taking them several weeks, and now they're basically just a prompt engineer photoshopping things to make it look better, and the degradation of purpose and meaning. And I'm thinking about this a lot in my own life with the sort of software company that I run, the analysis of language data that we do, and how much has changed even since we first started in 2019, and just how much is different. And with that, the fear, the anxiety that comes around it, I've been thinking about this concept of basically like artificial intelligence anonymous, so AIA, where it's like people who are showing up to are like almost like Alcoholic Anonymous meetings, but because they've lost jobs to AI. And that's a little bit of a joke, but I think it's a future that maybe some of us are feeling right now. And at this moment in time here with this Drake and Weeknd song is a signal of that, and a signal of it penetrating through culture very quickly, whereas some of the things have been a little bit more niche, maybe a little bit more nerdy, maybe not quite as substantive in terms of the reach that it had and just the understanding of just how powerful this was. And when you look at the reaction videos of this, that's it. It's holy crap. This is a moment. This is something that has happened very quickly. And if we're here now, where are we going to be in X months, X years? And so I think that is where a lot of our heads are at once we operate in this digital space. I'm wondering about YouTube creators, their viability. And again, there's some legal issues and things that are popping up here that are worthwhile taking a look at around copyright law and parody and all of this stuff and fair right usage. I don't know much about that. I don't think, unfortunately, that the laws are able to keep up at this blistering pace that we're at. And so we're going to see a lot of challenges here in the future, especially as we look at things like Stable Diffusion, the data that they've scraped online. It's all jumbled up into this mess here now. And it's going to be very hard to pull out these pieces of these data sets that have made these models so incredible. And a lot of the genie is out of the bottle already. I know I didn't play the video for you here. I've got some really interesting links that come out of this. This is one of them ones that stuck out to me, a tool called Spawning AI that is made for managing your AI identity, apparently really tailored towards artists who are trying to figure out how do we handle this, knowing this wave is coming where our voices can be cloned and put into models, and that people should have their rights to have their own voice and value being part of that. So definitely check that out. I might do another video on this because I just think it's fascinating. I realize just how big of a shift that we're actually in with this type of creation available in people's hands. Almost anyone with the connection, a willingness to do a couple searches and figure this all out. We're heading into an interesting world. I say this in I think every video, but I thought this was just a breakthrough moment for this tech and where we may be headed in the future. If you're listening to this, would love to hear what your thoughts are, like the quality, all of that stuff, but just what are you thinking after having this experience of listening to this, seeing how this song was created using all these AI processes, and where do you think this takes us? And this was interesting, insightful to you, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. This has been Tyler Bryden talking about Drake and Weeknd's that artificial intelligence song that has been created. And I'm sorry I couldn't play this in the video for you, but it's gone. And I want to keep my YouTube account. I'm still in good standing here, so I hope you understand why I didn't play it directly in this. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.